Good evening. Laura Donnelly here with coming to you from Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance with day 167 of Strange and Interesting Times. So yesterday was fun. It was the equinox. We balanced some eggs and a few people actually tried and did it, and somebody even posted a photo, which is really cool. So today I thought I would go back to something a little more serious. But actually, honest and truly, every single thing we do, we can use to improve ourselves or not to improve ourselves. So sometimes we just think we have a million things to do and life is pressing on us and it's really hard and it's just go, 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 go. And we don't really have, we think we don't have time to think about what we might do, how we might do something differently, how we might take care of ourselves in the hustle and bustle of our everyday lives. Even in the midst of something that's really difficult or that we don't want to do. So I picked the virus because I have a friend and she said recently, that stupid virus and, and this and that, and I'm so tired of it. And every time I see the news and this and that. And I said, well, yeah, the virus seems to be here. And we can push against it, which we sometimes do. And pushing against things is okay. I mean, like if you're trying to start your car and it's not going and you happen to have a clutch and you get somebody to push the car and you pop the clutch, a lot of times will start. So, I mean, it's not like you don't ever want to push something. But what is the result of pushing? Especially what is the result of pushing on certain ideas? What happens to you when you push on those ideas? So, like, for example, the news about the virus, this and that and the other thing. See, this and that and the other things. And I really don't like it. I'm really like everybody else. I'm pretty tired of it. I'm tired of not being able to do things with my family. I'm tired of needing to be careful about everything. One thing I said is that the virus makes things that were easy hard, and it makes things that were hard harder. Now, basically, things are okay for me. My house is fine. My cat is fine. I have food in my freezer. My garden grew this summer. So the resulting thing is, how do I want to deal with my feelings about the virus? If I allow myself to get all wound up and tied up in a knot, and I push on the virus, I have all this energy that can't go anywhere. It can't go anywhere. It just churns around inside of me. And I kind of become my own, inside my own body, my own bumper car wreck, and this doesn't feel good, and that doesn't feel good, and this other thing doesn't feel good, and I'm mad about this and that. Or I can say, well, what happens if I approach this with just a tiny bit more ease? I said, well, how the heck can I do that? I saw so-and-so on the TV and just and I'm like, oh, look what I just did. Okay. So I come back to myself and I say, every time I see so-and-so on the TV, it's really upsetting. Every time I hear about X, Y, and Z, it's upsetting to me. And when I feel upset, I choose, this is the powerful place, I choose to scan for ease in my system and find some place that doesn't feel that upset. Now, it's not going to change that exterior thing. That exterior thing is still a problem. There's not a thing we can do about it, really. But I can really use it to remind me that I forgot to pay attention. And I can pay attention to everything about the virus and my reaction to it. And when I have a reaction, especially when I have a strong reaction, that's when I have the choice it's easier to observe a strong reaction than a mild reaction. So when I have a strong reaction, I can say, oh, that was a strong reaction. How interesting. Then I can say, I wonder what would happen to how I feel if I check in with some ease in my system, where it feels a little bit easier than that reactive place. Then I move away from the reactive place. I can go right back to the reactive place. I can move away from it. I can go back to it. I can move away from it. I can do that 150 times, and that's absolutely fine. Because a lot of times, like sometimes you watch somebody on TV and they have this really grating voice and you're going like this. I'm like, oh, I'm going like this. What is this? This is not easy in my system. I'm having a crunched up relation to hearing that voice. Can't change the voice. I could turn it off if I wanted. But I can also check in my body and say, where feels easier than my ear when I hear that voice? Where? Because the ease and the tension can coexist. One doesn't have to eradicate the other. They kind of do, your attention flips back and forth, and we're never without tension, right? Because if we had no tension, we would be like a bag of amoeba, just like a sack of little gooey stuff on the ground. So we have to have a certain amount of tension, a nice, dynamic, balanced amount of tension in our system, in our body, in our brain. It is the tension of the heart squeezing that shoots the blood out into our blood vessels, that nourishes our body. Then it's the release of that tension that allows the blood to suck back to the heart from the veins. So there is a place and a purpose. Where we have trouble is when we get stuck going in a place of increasing tension and we just keep going that way, making more and more tension. The longer the virus lasts, the more things we have to look out for. What did somebody say the other day? Screen fatigue. It's a serious thing, screen fatigue. I appreciate that you come on here, and I'll be short here today. I think that there's computers fatigue that doesn't really have to do with screen fatigue, but it has to do with trying to get things done through the electronic medium. It's different than doing something with your hands. I work in my garden. Mostly what I do with my garden is to process the food so that it's frozen and stored and cooked or whatever, ready to use. And that's a really manual thing. So no matter what's going on, I really encourage people to find some human activity. Even if it's just going around the house and picking up your socks, or folding the sheets, or changing the sheets, or doing some of your dishes by hand. Just some physical activity in which you pay attention to your body's contact with other things from the world. Because it's fun to do. And like when I was balancing the little egg yesterday, when I would start to get excited, or it's going to balance, I would knock it off. When I would start to get frustrated, the egg is not standing up, I would not be involved in the same way. And so when I would notice that, I would say, oh, where's some ease in my system? And then by their own self, my fingers would change how they were on the egg. And gradually, I got out of the way and the egg was able to stand up by itself. So, first thing I would recommend is kind of charting the things in your life that have changed because of the virus. Just write down a little list. And it could be, could be that you discover some things that you actually like. It could be that your family, if you live with kids and parents in one house, could be that you are spending more time having meals together as a family. That could be something that you're enjoying. You could be trying to work at home and do homeschool, and that could be something that you don't really enjoy. It doesn't matter whether you enjoy it or not. just kind of cataloging the things. And for me, I'm kind of also cataloging the things that I miss, things that I might have done. I had a really wonderful workshop this summer that I wanted to go to in July. And the facility, I mean, I think a lot of the people weren't sick and were willing to drive to do the workshop, but the facility where we were going to have it chose to decide to close because of the COVID thing. And so then we didn't have a place to have the workshop. It was a dance workshop. You kind of needed a studio space. So we didn't have that this year. And I was very sad not to see some of the people. So my list has all kinds of things on it. It has a little more time spent with my husband. It has a little, some things better organized. I did some kind of nice decluttering earlier on. I need to do another wave of that. And my choice is to pay attention when I get sucked into the stuff that doesn't make sense about the virus. That's what my hook is. This just doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Why didn't they think it did? I can be 15 steps down that road really fast. And when I notice it, I say, okay, what can I do? And how can I use this virus to help me? And I can use every moment that I get off balance thinking about the virus as an opportunity to return to my center, to return to my organic dynamic balance. And in that way, everything about the virus becomes something I can use to heal myself. So I hope that was helpful and useful and interesting. I'm going to close off for today. And if you felt like sharing this with anyone, I would appreciate that. And if you make your list of things that have changed for you since the virus, that would be interesting for me if you would share that. I hope you have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow, and Friday, Vic Day will be a guest with us. She's going to do a wonderful kind of embodied physical check-in process that she teaches people. And it's another way that you can notice what's happening in your system. Notice if you are taking care of yourself or if you're pushing yourself further into tension and out of balance. So look forward to that on Friday for the healing path, and I will see you tomorrow. What did I say today was? 167? Yeah, tomorrow will be 168. Yeah. So what if I say, oh boy, tomorrow is 168, and it is 168 days that I have paid attention to the process of ease in relationship to everything that's going on with this virus. And I can say that that's an amazing consistency for me. And so that's another way that the virus has actually helped me and been good for me. So good luck to you. I'm thinking about you, and I hope you're having fun. Take care.